Let's talk about stress, because I know that in your work you talk about how our electric bodies are affected by stress, and we're talking all about post-traumatic stress today. So how do you think our electric bodies are affected by stress?
Well, we all know that we have memories, right? So where do these memories live? Do they live in our brain? Do they live in our muscles and our cells? Where are these memories? And, why do people have good memory? Why do people have bad memory? I mean, obviously all our memories are stored in our system because we relive past stressors. So what my research uncovered is that as I'm exploring this atmosphere around the human body, and this was years, this was many, many years of exploration. I think when I started working around the body, it was around 2005. And between 2005 and say 2008, 9, 10, I was in the middle of Vermont, in the middle of nowhere, a 25-acre meadow up on a mountain. There was no noise at all. And I'd even unplugged the refrigerator in the other room. And I listened so deeply to bouncing sound off people and listening to the signal that came back, like sonar or like bats or dolphins, or like an ultrasound machine. It's like just putting in the signal, listening to the ping back. And over many thousands of hours, because my practice got busier and busier and busier until I finally had to shut it down. It got so busy. I couldn't manage it anymore. And the reason why I got busy is because this works. It helps solve people's problems because it gets directly into their memory banks. And my hypothesis, it's just a hypothesis, is that what we call our biofield, our biomagnetic field, which I've come to see as a electromagnetic bubble that surrounds our body. It's not so different than the Earth's magnetosphere or the sun's heliosphere. Anything that has an electric current running through it has a magnetic field around it, and magnetic fields take on these toroidal shapes. So we have a diffuse magnetic field that surrounds our body. And what I discovered was that all our memories seem to be encoded and accessible through this field. So what I discovered was that memories that people had generated recently were all encoded vibrationally close to the body. Memories from childhood, from gestation, from birth, were at the very outer edge of the field. And everything else fell in between, like rings in a tree. So I developed the ability to start at the outer edge of somebody's field with my tuning fork, almost like dropping a needle on an album. And by moving slowly through these tree rings, I was able to vibrationally read the record of their lives. So if somebody was 40 and I hit a big patch of turbulence and stuck energy about halfway through their field, about 2.5 feet away, 3 feet away, and it was on the left side of their shoulder, which was an area that I had identified seemed to be holding all the sad memories. I could tell them, it feels like when you were around 20, you went through something very, very sad. And they would say, yes, that's when my mom and dad were both killed in a car accident. So, and then the disturbance that the body goes through in an experience like that was laid down like a little ticker, like a little, you're going along and all of a sudden you get this tragic news and all of a sudden your whole nervous system goes haywire, right? And so that's encoded there. That where that needle went wonky, when I stick a fork in that zone, it's going to interface with that information, and I'm going to hear that information in the tuning fork. Okay, so in this way, the work is diagnostic in a way because we can find areas of trauma because the energy is frozen, it's stuck, it's dissonant, it's holding all the energy of that trauma. Now, when I put a vibrating tuning fork, which is producing a steady, coherent tone, into this, it is initially going to resonate with it. It is going to reveal the tonal expression of what that experience felt like. And you're going to hear it, and I'm going to hear it, and we're even going to feel it together. And you might cry. And if it's really tragic, I might cry right along with you because I'm just bathed in that vibe, right? So I'm really witnessing and feeling being in your pain. And that alone is really huge, to have somebody get inside your mind and sit there with you and feel your pain with no judgment. But the beautiful thing is that state doesn't last very long, because as soon as the body hears that it's out of tune and it has this input that it can reference itself again, it actually spontaneously begins to auto-tune. It starts to relax the tension that's holding that pattern in place. Breath starts to open up. People take full breaths. The pocket of static that has been here starts to resolve back into harmony. And it's the body that's doing it. It's not me. I'm just holding the fork there. It's the biofeedback. It's kind of like looking in the mirror and seeing you have spinach in your teeth. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to fix it. Your body is getting this reflection that it's all, akimbo and cattywampus. It's like, whoa, I need to fix that. And it's giving it the reflection it needs to make the adjustment. Just like if my guitar is in tune and yours is out of tune, and I like play my E for you, and you listen and adjust until you're in tune. That's what the human body does. It's so amazing. We're designed to be healthy and in tune. We have all the codes for health and well-being all inside of us. We just have a lot of noise and resistance in our electrical bodies. And the more stress we've been exposed to, the alcoholic father coming after us with a belt, your whole system goes into lockdown and the chaos that's taking place. That stuff never goes away. It lives on in our systems. And the more inputs we have like that, the more frozen energy we have in our system, the less bandwidth we have to be responsible, to be appropriately responsive to more incoming stress, because we still haven't processed the backlog of noise and stuckness and chaos in our systems already, right? So I've worked with a number of and lots of people who have PTSD. I think we all do to some degree, right? But some people have had very extreme PTSD to the point where they just have no ability to process information anymore. And it's not their fault. And it's nothing you can talk them out of, because their wiring is all frayed and gummed up. So if we treat PTSD from the level of the electric body, and something as simple as a tuning fork, I know it sounds absurdly simple, but what I discovered in PTSD is that the field around the head is like, just so much going on. It's like a big house, and every radio and every light and everything is on, and the refrigerator door is open and the stove is open, and like there's just chaos everywhere. Like, where do you even begin, right? But just going through the field really slowly with tuning forks, hitting these areas, letting the energy settle down. And what happens too is that our energy gets stuck in these places. So wherever there's a chaotic pattern, it sort of traps electric energy, and you end up with these sort of frozen patches all around, which then stops body energy from flowing through your body. And that drops your vitality, right? I mean, people who live with PTSD are living and surviving with just a fraction of their potential available to them. But the amazing thing is, okay, when you start liberating this potential in people who have had PTSD, when you start settling down the noise and freeing up the energy, these people turn into superheroes because they've had to work so hard to just get by. And now all of a sudden, when that trauma has been settled down and that energy has been released and their body starts to relax and they start to breathe and become more free, they have advantages over people who haven't suffered. They're stronger, and now they're getting themselves back, right? So for me, this process with sound is an opportunity for people to turn those difficulties that they had, those obstacles and those challenges, into stepping stones towards superhero status. Like those bits of yourself that you lost in chaos, you can have back. You can have back, and you can experience quiet in yourself. Like, this does not have to be a life sentence at all. Now, obviously there's different degrees, right? I mean, there's people who need a lot more, but there's body work, there's nutritional supplementing, there's ways to work with what's out there to maybe not fully heal for everybody, but to drastically improve your quality of life.